Hello Yellow class, welcome to our home learning for the next few weeks. Every day I'll put a video onto the website and onto YouTube for you to have a look at. I'll go through all the activities that I want you to do. I will record each day as 2 videos. I'm going to record the morning, which will take us up to lunchtime, and then I'll record another video for the afternoon. You can watch the videos as you want, so you can watch part of it, then do that activity, and then watch the next part so you're ready for the next activity, and it will take you through the day as it would be at school. So we are going to start off Monday with our phonics lesson. Are we ready? So we've got our speed sounds. I will say them with you today because I want you to make sure you're saying them properly. S, z, sh, b, k, d, g, h, j, p, q, t, w, x, y, ch, a, e, I, o, a, e, I, o, u, a, o, ow, oi, I, your. Are you ready for that highlighted tool to see which ones we can find? U, well done. J, well done. I, sh, well done. Right, our tricky words for this week. We have got 5 tricky words, and we are going to start today with the word path. Path is a tricky word because that A, when we say it, makes a bit of an R sound. I know when Miss Allinson says it, she says the word as path. In the south of the country, we tend to say it as path, and it sounds like there should be an R in there as in an AR sound, but there isn't. It's just the letter A. So path, P-A-T-H, path. Then we have the word bath, which is spelled the same at the end, but you have the letter B at the beginning. B-A-T-H, bath. Then we've got the word hour. Now this is the word hour, as in it took me an hour to do my work, not our house. They sound very similar. This one is spelled H-O-U-R, hour. Water, and again, that A is a little bit tricky in the word water, and it makes a bit of a funny sound. Water, W-A-T-E-R, water. And then we have the word even. 6 is an even number, even, E-V-E-N, even. So those are our tricky words. Make sure you practice them, because on Friday, one of your parents or an adult at home is going to give you a spelling test, and as well as writing all 5 of those correctly, I'd like to see if you can write them in a sentence like we usually would in school. They don't have to be dictated sentences though, but we'll go through that on Friday. So we are looking at the sound W, the W, and the W makes W on its own. Sometimes you have a W and a H together, and on your phonics sheet in your book you have got a set of words that start with the W, the W and the H together, okay? You might want to find some more words. You could use Google, you could use a dictionary to find some more words. What I'd like you to do today is just have a go at reading some of those words. So you might want to use your robot arms and then blend the words together. Now, phonics play, I know we often use this in school. Phonics play have actually come up again with another new password and username that we can use so we can access all their resources for free at home. So you can use those to log in. You can also, lots of the resources we tend to use in our classroom are in this resources section anyway, which gives you some of their free resources which are there all the time. So these ones with the red tabs, you'd have to log in to play. We tend to play these ones at the top here. What you do is if you click on one of the games, it will take you to another little page. When you click on start, you can then pick the phase. Now what, the one we're looking at today, is in phase 5. I will try to tell you each day which phase the sound is in, so that you know where to look. So phase 2 and 3, these are the sounds that you learnt in year R, and then moving into into red class. Phase 5 are the sounds that you learnt in red class. Okay, so try to think about when you learnt the words, the phonemes, if you can't remember. So phase 5, if we go on there, you can see the W that we're doing today, the WH. When I click on there, it gives me a game and I can sound those out and I can move my coin. So real words go to the treasure chest and rubbish words go in the bin. That will be there, and you can play that every day with the different sounds. You can even play it on a day when maybe we're not learning a new sound. So that's there. And with your words, if you want to make your own bingo game, your own pairs game, you can do whatever you want as long as you're reading those words. Okay? Spelling Shed. You should all have your Spelling Shed logins. We did send them home with you. If you can't find them, if your parents email me, I'll be able to send them back out to you. Mrs. Welling each week will be putting up a phonic activity. She will also be putting up a spelling activity, so thinking about those suffixes we're learning. She'll put up a spelling activity, and she'll also put up a spelling activity for our common exception words that we're learning. Okay, so there will be things on Spelling Shed for you to have a go at as well. I know lots of you use that, and we've been using that here in school. So have a go at the Spelling Shed activities. Guided reading. I know it's really tricky when you haven't got books at home to do the reading. You should have an Oxford Owls. You should be able to access that. Mrs. Hale has sent something out on Friday which has got a couple of other websites in it. I know all of these books are e-books and they make it a bit tricky to read, but try your best and make sure that you're accessing some books at home, okay? So try to read for 15 minutes a day. Okay, and your comprehension question this week, we were thinking about how do you know something? So you've got to think, how do you know somebody was a bad character or an evil character, or how do you know that they were a good character based on what they've done? So how do you know? And it might not be about a character, it might be about a piece of action that happens as well. So guided reading. Want you to start your maths today with some counting. So counting up in ones, and you should be able to count all the way from 1 to 100, and then either with a brother or sister or your mum and dad, you could get them to play the game that we play in school where I say 3, you say 3. So if I said 13, 14, 15, you would say, well done, you'd say 15, 16, 17. So have a think about those numbers, see if you can play those games, do some counting with your parents. Then we are thinking about subtraction, okay? Now we've done subtraction before. Subtraction, as you know, is shown by this symbol here. We really want that in black, don't we? So it's shown by this symbol here, and that means take away. So when we're subtracting, we start with a set of objects, and we take away a smaller number, which gives us our answer. Now in year 2, we are always subtracting what we call positive numbers, so our answer will always get smaller than this first number here. So here, we will get a smaller number than the number we started from, okay? Now, when you're subtracting, there are a few things that you might do. Now, in blue class and in red class, maybe we counted out sets of objects and we took away from that set and then we found our answer. In here we might still do that. We tend to use a tens equipment, so we tend to use something called Deans. Now, I know you haven't got Deans at home, but you could use things that you've got. You might have straws at home. You can make your straws into bundles of 10 and then have some loose ones. You could have Lego bricks and you could put them in pots, so you've got 10 bricks in some pots and then have some loose bricks. Doesn't have to be Deans, but it can do the same job as the Deans. You might need to do it practically. Most of you actually can just draw the Deans, and we'll go on to having a look at that in a minute. So you might use it, you might draw it. You might also use a number line. A number line is a good way of working it out. Some of you when they don't cross the tens boundary, you might be able to start calculating in your head by partitioning the numbers and working it out, and we'll have a look at that in a minute. So today we're not going to be crossing that tens boundary. So if we were looking at 46, subtract 22, if we were going to draw the Deans, we would draw 46, which is how many tens? Yes, you're right, it's 4 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's my 40, and then my 6 ones. So my number here is 46. Now we are subtracting today, so what am I going to do with my 22? You're right, I'm going to cross out my 22. I don't need to draw my 22, I cross it out off of here. So I'm going to take off 2 tens because 22 is made up of 20 and 2. So I cross off 2 tens and I cross off 2 ones. Then I count up what I'm left with. So I've got 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I know my answer here is 24. If I was going to do this with a number line, I would draw my number line and then I would put my number at this end because we are counting back. So I would put 46 here and then I've got 22. Now I could do this in different ways. Some of us might do this by doing 2 jumps of 10 and then 2 jumps of 1. Some of us might be able to do 1 jump of 20 and 1 jump of 2. It doesn't matter which stage you're at, as long as you're having a go and you can get the right answer. So 46, taking off 10, we would be 36, 26. This bit is the tricky bit, parents, when we swap from counting back in tens to counting back in ones. 26, 25, 24. Now remember, the important word in maths in year 2 is accurate. The best thing we want you to be able to do is to be accurate with whichever method you use, whether it's drawing the Deans or whether it's drawing a number line. You need to be accurate, and being accurate means you get the right answer. Okay? So, this last week we've been learning the story of how the world was made. There is a video that I have recorded which shows me telling the story using all the actions. So our story was called How the World Was Made. Now today you are going to start becoming authors. Okay, so you are going to be writing your own story. In your pack you have got a blank story map, but I have filled some of it in for you. So I've kept the structure of the story the same. You are thinking about the things that you are going to add each time. So you've got to think about something you can make. Now when I've done this before, I tend to think of something like baking a cake, because a cake's good because you can put in lots of ingredients. Sometimes people have done a pizza and they put lots of different pizza toppings on the top. Sometimes people have done like an ice cream sundae and they've put all sorts of different things inside. I did have somebody once who actually did how the football stadium was made, and they thought about all the different parts that went into making a football stadium, so at the end we had a football stadium. Okay, doesn't matter what it is, but you need to think about something that's got lots of parts that you can put in at each stage to make them up. So once upon a time there was no. So if I was doing cake, in here I would draw a cake. It's not a very well drawn cake, but I would draw a cake and I might write the word cake under there so that I can remember. Now sometimes we change this bit here. In our other story it was there was only darkness. Sometimes we say there was only hunger, because people will feel hungry. Or when they did the football stadium, I think they did something like there was only boredom, because they couldn't play. So you might need to think about changing that. So on the first day of the week, the piper began to bang his great bass drum like thunder beating, and a bowl appeared. Okay, so I'm going to write under there, bowl.